Hello everybody, I wanted to come at you one more time here before I head home from vacation because like I said yesterday, since I'm on vacation and I'm not working, I can make videos that answer questions people send to me that are not related to the core focus of this channel. As most people know, my channel is mostly focused on First Amendment, Second Amendment issues and some other constitutional issues here and there, basically freedom related stuff. But today I want to talk about immigration. That's usually not a focus on my channel, but I get asked about it all the time. And I got a couple of emails just yesterday about how I feel about, I think it's Abbott, the governor of Texas, how I feel about him shipping immigrants to DC, New York, etc. And don't I think that's, horrible, that he's a vile person, that he's using people as political, pawns and all this other stuff. And that it's just disgusting that he's doing that. And they think since I'm, a little left of center, I'm obviously going to be like, I love immigrants, and all that stuff. Which I do. I love people coming to our country legally, not illegally. And I think most immigrants feel that way. I'm a firm believer that in this country, we need to stop giving illegal immigrants health care, welfare, educations, etc. when they're here illegally. They shouldn't be able to get jobs when they're here. That way we would stop the flood of illegal immigrants. If they stopped having better things here than they had at home, they'd stop coming here. And that's why most of them come. It's not that they're in danger. Now, yes, some of them live in dangerous places, but those places are dangerous because of the way they've run their countries and the way they allow other people to run their country without intervening, usually because they believe in a greater religious or whatever principle that their leader tells them, like, oh, we're good Catholics, so blah, 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 or whatever. But getting back to the topic, what do I think about Abbott shipping these immigrants to different parts of the country? I 100% support it. I understand why he's doing it. Now, I'm not saying he's my favorite politician. I don't like politicians. People ask me all the time, well, what do you think of this guy or that guy or DeSantis or whoever? I don't like any of them. So don't be thinking you're going to find the one that I really like. I don't like any of them. They're all playing a game that I don't think is good for America, and I don't like any of them. But I can often say sometimes this one did something good, that one did something good. Despite themselves, they have to do something good every now and then or else people don't support them anymore, the ones that are paying attention anyway. But I actually support what he's doing because I think it is totally unfair when you have a federal government saying, oh, we got to treat people who come into this country like they're, porcelain, like they have all these rights, that they shouldn't even have because they're committing a crime. They should be arrested and deported back to where they are for illegally entering the country. But they say this on a national level and they say we have to deal with this with compassion and blah, blah, blah. But then they know it's basically going to be like Texas and Arizona that are going to have to deal with it. Because that's where all the immigrants are coming from, up through Mexico. We don't have a big flux of immigrants coming down from Canada. If so, then North Dakota and, other states like that could be shipping immigrants somewhere. Put them Canadians on a boat and ship them somewhere. Dirty Canadians. But here's the thing. Like I said, they make it to where on a national level, they say, you can't do this, you can't do that, you got to treat them with kid gloves, you got to do this, you got to do that. And then they say, deal with it, Texas and everywhere else, knowing they're going to deal with 90% of it. And that makes it really easy for people in Idaho or Washington or New York or New Jersey to go, oh, immigration is the backbone of our country and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, it is legally. Legal immigration is. Illegal isn't. When people come here illegally, they don't respect our laws. They don't respect our country. They don't do anything. They become a problem. And I'm okay with states like Texas saying, hey, this shouldn't be just our problem. Just because we have most of the border between us and the problem country, it shouldn't be all our problem. Our citizens shouldn't have to deal with millions of illegal immigrants coming in and draining our budgets. They shouldn't have to suffer from that just because they live in a state that happens to be adjacent to another state that isn't doing so well. But that's what they do. It's the people that live in Texas, etc., that suffer the consequences of this. Now, I'm not saying Texans want closed borders. I know a lot of people who live down on the border in Texas. They love it when people are able to travel back and forth freely. It's good for business. It's good for market, their markets, etc. But they don't want illegal immigrants just flooding in and staying. But that's what happens. I would say probably, I think I saw a study one time that says 77 or something like that to 80% of the immigrants that come across the border stay within 100 miles of the border. So or 200 miles of the border. That makes it Texas's problem, because they can't afford to go to a lot of the bigger cities like New York or Seattle, etc., or DC. They can't afford anything there, and they can't afford to get there usually. So making this problem more universal throughout our country, meaning now DC's having to deal with it, New York's having to deal with it, Seattle should have to deal with it. Spread it out to where it's not all damaging Texas and other southern border states. They should not have to deal with the fallout of that. And also, when that happens, there are a lot of predatory companies in those areas that have made their business off of exploiting illegal aliens. Keeping them there means they have no other choice but to fall prey to these people. The chicken farm industry, the corporate farming industry, all that crap exploits illegal labor. It affects people all over. I mean, ask the people who work for Pella Windows in Portland how badly illegal immigration has affected their work environment and their wages, etc. But down in the South, it is horrible. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, but those are jobs no one wants. They don't pay enough. And if the illegals didn't do it, nobody would do it. Well, if we raised prices just a tiny little bit and we told the producers, hey, you're not going to become a billionaire off selling apples, but you might become a millionaire because you go pay your people a livable wage. Well, then those jobs might be jobs that Americans did want. You never know. And even then, even if someone's an illegal alien, they shouldn't be working at slave wages. That shouldn't be something we tolerate. And when we allow a flood of them to just keep coming in, it perpetuates that, indentured servitude. And like I said, it also creates an entire class of people that have no reason to respect the law because they have no real identity. So they can do what they want and then just go back across to Mexico. So it is a dangerous thing to have all this illegal immigration. And all of that danger shouldn't be in just Texas and other border states. So them spreading it out to other cities so other cities could maybe just get a tiny taste of what they're experiencing and what the problems actually are, that might mean that, hey, if they start to suffer from it and people in their state start saying, hey, I'm okay with immigration too, but there's got to be a limit. If people start saying that, well, then maybe something will be done. Maybe politicians will say, yeah, we're going to crack down on businesses that hire illegal immigrants and pay them unlivable wages. We're going to crack down on businesses who just pay unlivable wages and exploit them. Just every reason that they come here. Welfare. There's not going to be welfare for people who are here illegally. You're not going to be able to take your kids down and sign them up for school if you're here illegally. There's going to be no benefits for you here. You're not going to be able to rent an apartment. You're not going to, and anyone who rents to illegal aliens, crack down on them. Businesses that cater to them, crack down on them. Businesses that exploit them, crack down on them. No welfare. None of these things. I'm not saying if they go to emergency room, don't help them. Of course, any person who goes to the emergency room should be given medical aid to make them stable, whether you have insurance or not. But as far as the other luxuries, food stamps, rent assistance, that should not be going to illegal aliens. Period. They're committing a crime. They're not here legally. So I'm okay with what Abbott's doing. I'm okay with him shipping people into other cities because here's the thing. Like I said, maybe if they get a taste of the real problem, maybe they'll change their attitudes a little bit and they might actually try for once to fix something.